Hello and welcome to my channel. First of all, I just want to say please ignore the noise outside. My landlords are out there by the fire. They're making lots of noise. I apologize. Second, hello. Welcome to the channel. My name is Cheryl. Thank you very much for joining me. If you're a new viewer, hello, welcome. And if you're a returning viewer, welcome back. Hi. I'm moving my camera, sorry. Okay, let's get started because I am just so excited to do this video. So first of all, I'm wearing my little hoodie snuggie thing. I don't know what you call it. I got it for my birthday from my landlords last year. Like, oh, my hair's wonderful. Last year, and I'm just loving it this year. I don't know why, but okay, we're trying to smooth out the hair. It's not working. Maybe we will put the hood on. I don't know. I'm kind of half hot and half not, so I don't know if the hood will stay on. But I'm enjoying just relaxing today. I'm sorry for the noise if you can hear they're cutting wood or something for the fire, but I uploaded a video today and right now I'm recording another one, so I'm happy with that. I got some water because I'm coughing a bit, so I also have some tea. I have some hot chocolate tea from David's Tea, which is my favorite tea in the whole world. It only comes out once a year at David's, and I'm hoping to buy some more on the 20th when I get my check. Here's hoping. So, okay, this video, but we got to talk about this video. Okay, I'm moving the camera too much. This video is my top 23 books that I read in 2023. So I'm very excited to do this. Again, I've got my little handy dandy notebook from like the dollar store or something. That's the brand. So I've got my list now. They're not in any specific order. Okay, we're moving the camera again, I guess. Okay, we're trying to get comfortable here. At least I am. I don't know about you. I gotta move my legs. Okay, we're getting settled. I should have gotten settled before I started recording. I realize that. Okay, so these are not in the order of which I love them. Again, they're cutting wood or something out there and they're so noisy. Sorry. So these are just 23 books that I love. They're not in any specific order. I love them all the same. I don't know if I actually have a favorite. Like all of them I love for different reasons. So let's start. So in no particular order, we have The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston? Don't know how to pronounce the last name. I just finished this yesterday and I loved it. I thought it was really good. There are some sexy times and some language in it. I don't always I never really enjoy it when they have language, and sexy times are okay, but I just, not my favorite to read, but I did enjoy the actual book. The writing was beautiful. I really enjoyed it. And also with that, I also read this year, what's it called? The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. We'll put that up here too because that was really good as well. I'm going to check these off while I talk about them because I'm going to forget what I talked about. So the 7-Year Slip and see, I already forgot. The Dead Romantics. I really enjoyed them. And they're both by Ashley Poston. They're adult romances. They're kind of paranormal. So in the 7-Year Slip, they have this lady named Clementine, and her aunt dies, and she was very close to her aunt. She always went on adventures with her and traveled with her, and her aunt dies in the beginning of the book, and she inherits her aunt's apartment, and she knows that her aunt has told her that this apartment is magical and that her aunt had a female relationship with another woman back that this woman was actually 7 years lived in that apartment 7 years before her, and the apartment brought her back to that time. I'm not explaining this very well. So um Clementine goes in there and the apartment does the same thing, brings her back 7 years, and she meets a guy, and they kind of fall in love. And then there's the present timeline where she doesn't know, she sees him again, and I'm telling the whole story. I'm so sorry. This is not really a spoiler, but it's a love story. You know how it ends. And it was very beautiful. It's like a time travel type book. I'm not selling it very well. As you can tell, I'm not very good at giving synopses. But I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good, and the romance was really good. I liked the guy. I really liked him, and I thought they were great together. So, really enjoyed that. And then the Dead Romantics is the first one I read of hers, and she's written young adult as well, and I want to read those. I think Geekerella is one of the ones she wrote. I think. But the Dead Romantics is about a lady whose dad dies, and she goes back to her hometown because her family um, runs a funeral parlor kind of thing, and she has to deal with her dad's death and everything. And what's unusual is her and her dad could see ghosts. So she goes back and she sees a ghost of her editor that treated her pretty badly just the week before, and they form a relationship. And I loved it. I thought it was sweet. I thought it was good. There weren't as many sexy times as I remember as the 7 Year Slip, but I thought it was still really good. It was really good. I really enjoyed it. I think I like that one more than 7 Year Slip. But it was really good. There is some, like, F bombs and stuff in the books, which I didn't appreciate, but it was still really good. Next, we have another book that I just finished recently, and that is Belladonna by Adeline Grace. Really like this book. This was about a young girl. I never remember characters' names, but the young girl, she, in the beginning of the book, her whole family dies, and when she's a baby, and death kind of personified comes and kills the whole family and takes the whole family. And then he can't touch her, though. He tries to take her, but as a baby, she just can't die. And so they form kind of a relationship, like a friendship kind of thing, but not really. She thinks he's bad. And so throughout her life, all her caretakers, all her foster families all die. So she eventually goes to a family member to live with, and there she meets Death more personally. And Death and her, he can talk to her and see her, and she's the only one who can see and talk to him. And they form a relationship, and then she solves a murder, and it's just really good. It's so good. I'm not selling it. I'm so sorry. Read the synopsis on the book. It's really good. I really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to Foxglove, which is the second book. It's at my library. It's on hold. I have one more person on hold before me, so I'm hoping to get it before January. I'm so excited to read it. So excited. But it's really good. It's kind of, in a way, it's kind of creepy when you think about it too hard, because Death is literally like millennials years old. And there's one point where he says, I've waited a millennial for you. And that's kind of like, okay, that's kind of like an Edward and Bella type thing, from Twilight. Edward's actually, I think he's like 700 years old or whatever, but he looks like a teenager. It's the type thing. It's the same type thing. But I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. It was really good. And it does have some sexy times, but it was still really good. And there weren't many swears. I don't think there were many F words, if any. And there was a few other words, but not too bad. And there was a couple sexy time scenes, but not too bad. It wasn't too bad. It was pretty good. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. She sees ghosts. There is a description of a ghost, because the ghosts in this world, the way they die is how they. Sorry if you can hear the noise. Somehow they're doing a wash or something. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing out there. um, but what was I saying? What was I saying? I can't get over the noise. It's so loud in here. Ugh. Um, what was I talking about? Belladonna? Was I talking about Belladonna? I don't remember. I'm so sorry. I'm so tired. Being in this cozy little outfit is just making me so tired and dopey. I'm loving just Usually I'm really hot or really cold, and right now I'm just comfy, just perfect temperature, and I just feel so dopey. But anyways, I don't remember what I was saying. Just read Belladonna. It's really good. I really enjoyed it. If you don't like sexy times, maybe not read it. You can skip over that part. That's kind of what I did. I kind of skipped over those parts, but it was really good. Not much language, just really good book. Oh, I know what I was saying. I'm sorry. What I was saying about the ghosts is how they die is how they look when she sees them. So if they die a really awful death, then that's how they look awful. So there's one description of a ghost with blistering lips and a mush of a tongue, and it was really gross. Kind of skipped over that part too. But other than that, it was really good. Very gothic, very it reminded me a lot of Jane Eyre. Very gothic, very sorry, very Jane Eyre-ish, I think. I really enjoyed that. Okay. Oh my gosh, we've already been talking for 11 minutes and we've only gone through two books. Three books. Then we have The Natural History of Dragons by Marie Brennan. Really like this book. I liked all of them. I gave them all like 4 and 5 stars. Some of them aren't 5 stars, but I did really like them, and I can't stop thinking about them. So, The Natural History of Dragons by Marie Brennan is the first book in the Lady Trent memoirs. This is a series about Lady Trent, and she is lives in an alternate history of our world where there are dragons, and she is writing memoirs of her discovering dragons and discovering researching dragons and her adventures. It's a very melancholy type book, um very beautifully written. It feels like history. It feels like it's a real historical ratings. It's really, and when I'm reading it, I'm like forgetting that there are actually no dragons. This is not real life, but it was really well done. There are some action scenes that had me at the edge of my seat. There's some very plain scenes where it was just day-to-day monotony kind of thing, and it was just monotony. What's the word I'm looking for? You know the word I'm looking for, but it was really good. I really liked it. I have the other 3 or 4 novels in that series out from the library right now. I'm reading this second book right now, so I think it's called The Tropic of Serpents, I think. Really enjoying that so far. So that one is The Natural History of Dragons by Marie Brennan. Then we have Buried in a Good Book by Tamara Berry. This is a cozy mystery. It is about a woman who is an author, and she goes to the small town where her said father, grandfather, someone lived, and before he died, and she had inherited his cabin that has no power, and she has a no internet, no water, nothing. And she has a daughter, teenage daughter, Gertrude. I don't know why I remember Gertie's name, but I remember her. And they have a great relationship. Gertrude is very much a teenager. You can tell that the author, Tamara Berry, knows teenagers because she's very much a teenager. And this lady and her daughter go to the cabin, and in the first chapter, um, they hear a big boom, and then body parts fall from the sky. It is a cozy mystery. It is a teensy bit more gruesome than, more descriptive in the deaths than other cozies. But it was really good. I really enjoyed it. And she seems to think that because she's a thriller author that she knows how to solve mysteries and stuff. And then also, I love the relationship between her and the sheriff because he is like the embodiment of the detective in her novels that she writes. He's like the exact same. So she goes to town and she sees him, just like, "You're so and so, you're my character." And it's so fun. I love that book. The characters are so fleshed out, they're so fun. I read the whole series, all 3 books this year, and so I wanted to tell you about those. Next, we have another cozy called Death of a Schoolgirl by Joanna Campbell Slan. This is the first in the Jane Eyre mysteries. Now, this series I read on audio. Um, I listened to the audiobook on Everend, and it is like it sounds like, it's a Jane Eyre mystery. I'm so tired. I'm so sorry. I know I say that all the time, but I really get so tired doing videos. I'm just this is the way I am. I'm always tired and not making any sense. Hello, if you're new here, hello. Welcome to my chaos. Okay. So Death of a Schoolgirl by Joanna Campbell Slan. This is a Jane Eyre mystery, and what it is, it takes the character Jane Eyre from the book Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. It takes her as a character and puts her in as the amateur sleuth in a cozy mystery series. So it's really fun. There's like I think 4 or 5 books in the series so far, and it's just really fun series. I've listened to the first two, really like them, and it's got all the characters from Jane Eyre in it, and it's got the daughter and Mr. Rochester, and it's so much fun. And in this book, Jane Eyre gets um, a letter from her stepdaughter, Mr. Rochester's daughter, and she starts worrying about her because she's at a boarding school, and her letter concerns her. The way that she wrote this letter, there's a little clue in it. So she goes by herself for different reasons, by herself to this school, and there it's a creepy school, and there's a murder, and it's just so much fun. I found that the character of Jane Eyre was very much like the character by Charlotte Bronte. I found that I really felt like it was the same person. So I really like that. The writing's a little bit different, but it was still, I mean, obviously it's different. It's a different author, but it felt very reminiscent of Charlotte Bronte. So that was a lot of fun. Then we have, okay, here's another one that I put two of the same series. The Ballad of Never After and A Curse for True Love, and actually the first book as well, which is Once Upon a Broken Heart, which is the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy by Stephanie Garber. I loved this series, specifically A Curse for True Love. I know a lot of people like The Ballad of Forever After best. I particularly liked the third book because I loved how it wrapped up. But the whole series is 5 stars for me. I really enjoy the series. It's by Stephanie Garber. It's technically it's in the same world as the Caraval trilogy, which I also finished this year. I finished with finale this year. And so the Once Upon a Broken Heart is technically in the same world as Caraval, that trilogy. It has Jax as a character, and it does talk about Donatella and Scarlet from the Caraval series. You don't have to read the Caraval series to read Once Upon a Broken Heart, but I would recommend it just because you don't know the full backstory, and I think it's just fun knowing the full backstory before you read the rest of the romance of Jax. So in this book, in the Once Upon a Broken Heart, we have Evangeline, and the love of her life is marrying her stepsister. So she wants to stop the marriage. She is in love with this man, and she doesn't think that her sister really does love her. It's not stepsister, it's half sister, I believe. And so she goes to this church that she's heard has the fates, and the fates are kind of like gods kind of thing. And she goes to the Prince of Hearts, who is a fate, and his name is Jax, and says, "Stop this wedding, I'll do anything." So he says, "Okay, I'll stop the wedding, but you have to give me 3 kisses. You have to give 3 kisses." And she thinks right away that she has to kiss him. He's like, "No, no, I said give 3 kisses, not give me 3 kisses." So he stops the wedding in a weird kind of way, and this starts a whole thing where she goes to the north, where there's um, a um, prince, and it's very fairy tale-ish. There's lots of fairy tale type writing in the book, and she goes there, and Jax. There's a whole plan why Jax wanted those 3 kisses. You just got to read it. It's so good. It's fantasy. It's very, like I said, fairy tale-ish. If you love fairy tales, it's very much reminiscent of a fairy tale. The writing is beautiful. I love Stephanie Garber's writing. it's captivating. I love her writing. And the series is just so good, the trilogy. The way it ends in the third book, which is what's it called? A Curse for True Love. I know some people don't like. I actually loved it. I thought it was a good ending. And it leaves room for her to go back in this world if she wants to, but it closes it enough so that she doesn't have to, kind of thing. And I really enjoyed that. And I thought the whole series was just fun. I really enjoyed it. There are, if you want to know, a little bit of sexy times, not too much. I don't think it was very bad in swear words either. I think it was pretty good. So I really enjoyed that. I think out of all the ones that have sexy times in them, um, this one was probably the one that has the least. So really enjoyed that. Then we have another cozy mystery, Bait and Witch by Angela M. Sanders. This is a series about a woman, I forget her name, but she goes and takes a job at a library. And in this library, it's in this big castle type thing, and she finds a body, and so she decides to help solve the murder because she's a suspect, I believe. It's just really good, and she finds out that she's a witch, and it's just so much fun. The writing was really good. It was very easy to read. It's a cozy mystery, so I've read the first two books in the series, I think, and I'm on the third. Or no, actually, I read book one and book three, and I'm on book two because book three came into the library before book two. So I read book three first, but I'm really enjoying that series. I love the fact that because she's a witch, her her power comes from books, so she can she'll know what to recommend to anybody who comes into the library without them saying anything. She'll know what they need to know. So if someone's pregnant and they don't know, they haven't told anyone, she could say, oh, you need what to expect when you're expecting, and they're like, how did you know, kind of thing. It's so much fun. It's so much fun, and I'm really enjoying that series. um there's one scene I wanted to tell you, but I think it's kind of a spoiler and it's fun to discover on your own, so I'm not going to tell you, but it's a really good series. Not I mean, it's about a witch, so there's supernatural powers. It's not an evil witch, you know what I mean? And it's not satanic or anything. It's just a fun thing. And then we have The Collected Regrets of Clover by Mickey Bramer, don't know how to pronounce that. I'm sorry. This is a book about Clover, who is a death doula, and she helps people in their last minutes on Earth in their bed, their last minutes before they die. She comforts them and hears their. They often tell her their regrets or their last requests, that kind of thing, and she keeps a notebook of all those things that they talk about. And this is her life as a death doula. And then she is feeling lonely. She's 30 something and has never been in a relationship, and she wants to be in a relationship, but she finds that people just kind of shy away from her when they find out she's a death doula. They get kind of nervous and kind of freak out on her, and she's very much an introvert. I related so much to Clover. Not because I'm a death doula, I'm not, but I do have Tourette syndrome. And when I tell people I have Tourette syndrome, they kind of like, okay, goodbye. They leave me. I was on dating sites for a while, and whenever I told them I had Tourette's, I never heard from those guys again. So I feel like when I tell people I have it, they kind of freak out, and a lot of people do. And I myself, I'm 46 and I've been in relationships, but I've never actually had a man love and respect me back. And so it felt very reminiscent. I'm using that word a lot. I felt very seen by this author and by Clover and her character. And it was a beautiful story. There is a bit of romance. It was such a beautiful story. And there is grief and death in the book, of course, because she's a death doula, so that is part of the book. So please check trigger warnings for this book. But it was really good. I really enjoyed it. Basically a literary fiction. It was in the Goodreads. Choice Awards. It didn't win, but I loved it so much. I voted for it because I thought it was really good. But yeah. Okay, hang on 1 second. Okay, I know it's just been split second view, but it has been an hour and a half since the last recording because I've recorded this 3 times already. My computer is not working, so we're gonna try it again, and we're gonna go through this quite quickly because my camera is not recording well, and I don't know why. So we're going to try this again. So the last book we talked about was The Collected Regrets of Clover. Next, we have The Marlowe Murder Club by Robert Thorogood. I listened to all 3 audiobooks of this series. It's fun. It's got elderly characters who are amateur sleuths. If you like the Thursday Murder Club, so I'm told, I haven't read the Thursday Murder Club, but I'm told that if you enjoyed that, you will enjoy The Marlowe Murder Club. It is a fun series about an elderly woman who help solve murders with 2 friends that become found family. It is a fun book. It is hilarious. The banter between the 3 women, and everything they get into is fun. And then we have, what do we have? Birdie She Wrote by Donna Andrews. Had to put a Donna Andrews book on here because I love her and I love her books. My camera's crooked. Is that better? Okay. Donna Andrews writes the Meg Langslow series. It is my favorite cozy mystery series. It involves Meg Langslow, and she is a fun character. And each book is a bird pun. So this is Murder She Wrote. If you know me, you know Murder She Wrote is my favorite TV series. So I had to read this. I love the audiobooks. The audiobooks are great. They're narrated by Bernadette Dunn. They're fun. They're a lot of fun. And in this book was just the same. It was a lot of fun. And I love this series. This is number 33 in the series. So you've got a whole bunch to read. And I'm really enjoying that series. Then we have Pagan Rose Stir Up Trouble by Lorraine Berenson. This is a spin-off of the Mel Travis book series by Lorraine Berenson. And this book follows Peg, who is an elderly lady. Can you see a theme here? An elderly lady who her and her estranged sister-in-law in the first book get together to solve a murder. And in this book, it's the second book in the series. In this one, Peg goes on a date and she likes the guy and then he ends up dead. So they have to solve the murder. Then we have a book that, no, then we have The Athos by Kathleen Klaskow and Liz Lawson. This is a fun book about 2 teenage girls who find each other and they love Agatha Christie, and one of their high school friends dies in a murder and they try to solve it. It's a fun book. It does have some serious parts in it. There is a trigger warning for domestic abuse. One of the girl's mother's ex-boyfriends comes back and he is not a good guy. So just a trigger warning for that. Really enjoyed that book. It was really well done. And then we have a book that not many people talk about. I've never heard anybody talk about it. I found it randomly on Libby one day, and it is Charlotte Ailes' Naughty Detective by Katie Segal. I really recommend this book. It is narrated by the author. Really good book. I hope it's a series. It's about a woman named Charlotte Ailes she's, I think, in her 18 or 19 years old. And in her childhood, she was a child detective and helped solve a lot of crimes in her small town. And she kind of becomes famous in that town. And then as she grows older, she wants out of the limelight, so she moves to a bigger city, I think New York, and then her brother kind of reinvents herself as someone else. And I mean, the same person, but she doesn't want anybody to know about her childhood. And her brother calls her back to her hometown and says, "We need your help." So she goes back and she has to solve a murder. And it's fun. It's hilarious. It was so funny. I really enjoyed that book. Then we have The Good Sister by Sally Hepworth. This is a book, my first and only book I've read was Sally Hepworth, but I want to read more. This is about Rose and Fern, and I think they're twins, or they might just be close in age, but they're sisters, and it's something happened in the past that we don't know about as the reader, and Fern has autism, and she relies on Rose a lot, and so there's a bit of a reliance type mother sister relationship thing, and it's a thriller. It is a thriller, a suspense thriller. But what I loved about this book is the whole journey that Fern went through in realizing that just because she has autism, she is not stupid. She can do things, she just has to do them differently. And I really liked that. I really liked the journey of her learning about herself and learning that it's okay to be different. And I really like that. And there is a mystery in it as well. And the ending kind of shocked me, but it was really good. And I just recommend that. Then we have Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. This book, Everywhere is Everywhere, and it's a book about a dragon rider who she goes to the war college in her world, and she is trained to be a scribe, and she goes there, and her mother, who's also the general of the dragon riders, said, no, you're going to be a dragon rider. And she goes to be a dragon rider, and so it's all about her training and bonding with dragons. It's so much fun. There's a political thing in it as well. There's again, dragons that are just fun, and I love the dragons. They're so much fun. And there's a romance. There is quite a bit of f bombs, quite a bit of sexy times. Um, I didn't really like that, but it was still really good. It was a really good book. I kind of skipped over the sexy times and the I kind of dealt with the swearing. There's a lot of f bombs in that book, but I really enjoyed it. Um, it's kind of my guilty pleasure, that series. So I really enjoyed it. I did listen to Iron Flame as well, and I enjoyed that one as well. Then we have Lemon Curd Killer by Laura Childs. Laura Childs is my other favorite cozy mystery author. She writes quite a few series, but the one that Lemon Curd Killer is the Tea Shop Mystery, which is my favorite series. This follows Theodosia Browning, and she is a tea shop owner. And in this book, she's catering an event, and someone is found dead in the lemon curd. She solves it. It's really good. I really enjoy that series. It's again a cozy mystery, a lot of fun. My nose is itchy. And then we have Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers by Jessie Houston Tonto. Really like this book. I hope it becomes a series. This is by Jessie Houston Tonto, who wrote Dial A for Aunties. I have not finished that book, but I really liked Vera Wong because she is, again, an elderly woman who is lonely, and I really like that. I mean, I don't like that she's lonely, but I like the representation. And she is a Chinese American, and she owns a tea shop. She only has one real customer, and she lives above the tea shop in a little place, and she comes down one day and finds a dead body, and she thinks that she could solve it better than the police can. And she suspects everyone. It has quite a few different point of views from different people, and they become found family, and she doesn't want any of them to be guilty, but she suspects everyone. It's just such a good book. Vera Wong is hilarious. You just don't say no to her. And there's one scene where someone says, you just can't say no to Vera. And it's just so true. And I loved that book. The audiobook was really good as well. Then we got Forget Me Not by Elle Terry. This book, I don't know if it's Elle Terry or Ellie Terry, but it's up there. This book is about a young girl with Tourette syndrome. And if you know, I have Tourette syndrome. And so I found this very personal, very heartbreaking, very inspiring at the same time. This book is about an 11-year-old girl, or 11 or 12-year-old girl, who has Tourette's, and she moves to a new town, a new school, and her mother and her doctor told her not to tell anybody she has Tourette's. And that is like makes me so anxious. As soon as I learned that, I was like, because you can't hide Tourette's. It's not something you can hide. And I felt so bad for her, and her urges to do the tics were just overcoming her, and she couldn't hold them in, and then it just reacted, and everybody found out, and she was treated badly. And then she has a friend who I love this friend of hers, and it's such a good book. It was so well done. The author herself has Tourette's and is in her 40s and has had Tourette's since she was a kid. So I felt very seen by her, because I'm in my 40s. I've had Tourette's for 35 years. So it was very well done. And I was 11 when I was diagnosed as well. So it was fun. Not fun. It was very hard to read. It was very hard to read, but it was really well done. And then another book that I found hard to read but really loved was Everything is Okay by Debbie Tung. I've talked about this book quite a few times on my channel. This is about this is a graphic novel where the author Debbie Tan talks about her discovery of her having anxiety and depression and getting help for it. It is really well done. The pictures are great. I cried through the whole thing. I learned so much about depression, anxiety, about myself that I didn't realize were from depression, anxiety. I thought it was just me, so it was really nice. My camera keeps getting crooked. I'm sorry. So, my depression, anxiety is not just me. Other people feel the same way, and it was very beautiful. I cried through the whole thing. I love that book. I bought a copy of it. It is up there. You can see it right here. Let's see if I can show you. It is up there, right there. Everything is okay. I love that book. It is so good. If you have depression, anxiety, or know someone who does, I would recommend that book, because it is very beautiful and well done. And there's scenes where she talks about her counseling, and it's just so good. Then the 23rd book that I loved in 2023 is As Good as Dead by Holly Jackson. I loved this book. This is the third book in a trilogy of A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. I loved this book. It turned very dark, but I really liked it. I thought it was really good. I thought the mental health rep was really good in this book. Um, I did find that the talk about being addicted to a certain medication kind of hard to gather, because I've taken that medication before, and the dose that she was taking is not a bad dose, it's a normal dose. So I felt kind of like that's not really true. I mean, I know you can get addicted to any dose, but it's just she's thought it is bad to take that dose, and I just felt like that's kind of a normal dose for a lot of mental health problems. So I found it kind of weird. But other than that, I really enjoyed the book. Really enjoyed it. It was very dark. It's a YA thriller about a girl named Pip who solves a murder in the first book, and then in the second and third, she finds out more about the murder and about her life. And it was just beautiful. The ending to the third book, I loved. I thought it was such a good ending, and there's a romance, and I love the romance, and it was just so good. I really enjoyed that series. So if you're looking for a YA thriller that goes a bit dark in the third book, check out Holly Jackson's A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. That is it. I hope this one actually recorded, because I'm tired of re-recording this. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this, and if you did, please give me a thumbs up as well as subscribe to my channel. I'd really appreciate it. I thank you for everyone who subscribed recently. I've gotten quite a few subscribers this last few months, not years, months, and I just really appreciate you all. Thank you so much, and God bless you and all you do. Have a great day. Bye, guys.